Barnes's ex-wife is a Russian national, and she took their two young boys from the United States to Russia after claiming that Barnes was sexually abusing the children. It's a horrible allegation, and it was thoroughly investigated by Texas authorities, and it was deemed to be untrue. In fact, there's actually an active arrest warrant out for her, the mother, for illegally taking the kids out of the country. Now, Barnes went to Russia looking to at least get visitation with his young sons, only to be arrested in January of 2022 on those old, unfounded abuse allegations that his wife had launched against him in Texas. He was found guilty in a Moscow court 2 years later and sentenced to more than 2 decades in a Russian prison. His family says he is innocent, and as we told you, the state of Texas Department of Justice system also agrees that he is innocent. Joining us now is David's sister, Carol Barnes, and David's lifelong friend, Paul Carter. Both have been vocal advocates for his release. Thank you both so much for being here. Carol, the United States government has not given your brother that status of wrongfully detained. It's a specific status. It means that what happens is then the government officially begins working to get that person's release. It's an important status. You've been working for years to get it. I spoke to the family of Travis Leak last week. He's another American also being held in a Russian prison. He also doesn't have the status. Tell me why it's so important and what you have heard, if anything, from the Trump administration about this.
Well, as of now, we haven't heard anything yet from the Trump administration. But we know that they are actively working, or we've heard they're actively working behind the scenes to get David home, hopefully. But as far as any communication with us, we've had some phone calls, a couple of phone calls, but we weren't told anything.
Yeah.
They didn't get his name out there.
Yeah. To be honest, until I started doing the research on this story, it's the first time I've heard his name. Paul, have you spoken to David since he was sent into prison?
You know, David has an opportunity to make some phone calls. And when we speak, you know, he's desperate to come home. And you know, talking about the wrongful detention and seeing Mark Fogel come back, you know, we followed, this is 3 years. We're over 1,000 days into this. So, you know, Carol's other sister, Margaret, David's other sister, isn't here, but the three of us has sort of become a team, and they've adopted me sort of as their brother. I mean, they're sisters I never had. So we're really close on this. But getting back to the wrongful detention, you know, we followed all the way from Trevor Reed, Brittany Griner, Aaron Gerkovich, Paul Wheeland, and now Mark Fogel coming back. And we look at the elation on his face and the flag, and we are very happy for those families because we know what they've gone through. We know. So not to cheapen theirs, but every one of those was declared wrongfully detained, and it seems to be the ticket. And we have had some meetings with the State Department. We've talked to Consular Affairs, and we have requested that you know, the Special Presidential Envoy for Hostage Affairs. It was Roger Carstens under the Biden administration. We never heard really much from them. Now it's Adam Boehler. And so until we really get confirmation that David is on their radar and has been declared wrongful, we really don't know if he will make it home again. I mean,
well, I don't understand why was the State Department refusing to classify him as wrongfully detained?
That is a great question.
We don't know. They don't give us an answer.
We've pushed for that, and it just seems like, you know, we've kind of boiled it down to there's actually 3 people right now that we feel are decision makers in the process, and that they would be Adam Boehler of the special envoy. You'd also be Marco Rubio, and of course Donald Trump. And anybody else besides those 3, we just feel like we're getting lip service on that.
When you spoke to David, did he tell you about the conditions? I mean, I understand he said that he's in a prison cell with 14 people to a cell.
Yeah. And they've had as many as 17 in there, and the conditions are horrendous. I mean, they have to line up to go to the bathroom. He's being bullied. There's guys in there that are career criminals, Russian mafia. if he leaves a breadcrumb on the table, they're down on him. They don't like him because he's an American.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.